So, Blue Lock, the first sports manga I've ever read. Initially, I came across a manga channel on Instagram, and me wanted to get into manga myself, and playing football myself, but why not? I'm a major Haikyuu fan, so me going into the series thinking it would be something similar. Boy has a dream, a passion to reach nationals, and what is it? So imagine my surprise when I read the first chapter and they were playing the final of the Saitama Prefecture to qualify for nationals. And I know what you're thinking, this is where we meet our main character. Not a first year, but a second year, dribbling the ball in the final moments of the match. He makes a decision and his team ends up losing. After the match, Isagi was thinking to himself if he was able to achieve his goals of winning the World Cup. And funny enough, he hasn't been to nationals yet, so I would say win that one first, but he was dreaming big, I guess. So when he comes home, he receives a letter from a facility named Blue Lock, funded by the government to train teams to become the next top striker of Japan, and their goal being winning a World Cup. I think it's a very unique premise that immediately caught my eye. Oh yeah, and 300 strikers were selected for the Blue Lock project. Now that being said, let's talk about Isagi as a protagonist. I really like how kind and innocent he looks and acts, but when his dream gets threatened, he really gets rough and vulgar in his plays. And even though in team challenges he is not nearly the best, he can push his team forward and win the match. The thing I like the most about him is the way he grows and goes about thinking in a game. That he is aware of his limits and can think outside of the box and still come on top. I think that's a unique sports main character, in contrast to the passionate but weak in technique or absolute prodigy. Speaking of unique, the character designs in this manga, especially in the later stages, I find are really cool. And another thing about the characters I really love is that the way they act is reflected in their playing style, and the chemistry they have with each other feels natural. It doesn't feel like forced or rushed, it feels like just a normal sports game where you hit it off with some people and some people you absolutely can't stand. The dynamic of that in some stages characters can be your friend and in other stages you need to crush their dreams to move on is what really spoke to me and what I really love done well. It makes you kind of feel for the characters in a way and realize the magnitude of this project and what is going into this. So I really like how how they did pay attention to that, and how they didn't just gloss it over like just another film. They set up future threats really well and future antagonists. I really like when anime or manga does that. I like Chigiri and Rin a lot and love their playing style. But my favorite character gotta be Nagi. If you read it, you know. He has a cool design, he steals the show every time he gets the ball, and he has the funniest interactions with the cast. And is easily best boy. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. If you've seen the show, you know I'm right. The art in Blue Lock is really good, and they make a good use of the color black. I find that in most others, it doesn't feel messy, it just feels like really clean art too. Plus, they convey movement really well. You can almost feel the energy behind the art. Whether it's from kicking the ball or even the ball itself, it feels really nice and dynamic. The matches keep me at the edge of my seat. They're not scared of eliminating someone you know or someone from the main cast. The stuff I did not like is the way they exaggerate movements or add flashy effects sometimes. It is exaggerated to such an extent that I have to question if they have superpowers. Other times, I just found myself thinking, you sure this guy didn't use the zone from Kurokono's Black Wall? You sure this guy is not moving at the speed of light? I don't mind the menacing glow they give characters, or some cool effects to make them look more badass in their face, but sometimes they just activate a superhuman power, it seems like. There's specific examples, but it still irritates me every time. Well, moving on some character quirks feel really unrealistic for a sports manga. There are two characters that have that, but it makes me roll my eyes every time. I think one of the main critics of the manga is in its beliefs in football, like the premise and main goal of the show being 300 strikers to take only one player, and not to mention they all play the same position, which is understandable to think, but I have my theories about that, so I might make a video about that soon. Anyway, this video was a real hassle to make, believe me. Um, I'm not sure it will come out the way I expect it to come out, but we'll see about that. So if you enjoyed this, come follow me on my journey and subscribe. Goodbye.